Call the meeting to order. We're going to have invocation by Deacon Ron Singleton, Commissioner at Large. Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Jerry L. Evans. Thank you.
Father God, we come now, Father. Thank you for this day, Father God. Father, we just ask that you come in this meeting tonight, Father God. Bless it, Father God. Give us the wisdom and mind, Father, to do things that you would be pleased, Father God. Father God, touch the citizens, Father God, that they may do the desires that you have them to do, Father God. Father, we just thank you for what you're doing for the city, Father God, and what you're going to do, Father God. You're going to do another thing, Father. We know that you've already done enough, Father. We just thank you for it, Father. Father, these are other blessings we ask you, God. So in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Adams.
Present.
Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Present.
Commissioner Edwards.
President.
Commissioner Henderson.
Present.
Commissioner Henry.
Present.
Commissioner Isom.
Present.
Commissioner Singleton.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Present.
Mayor Mohammed. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of minutes from September 6th, 2022. Commissioner Adams has made a motion to approve. Commissioner Henderson has supported. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Isom.
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards.
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed. Motion carried.
Approval for zoning board of appeals minutes, September 6th, 2022.
So moved.
It's been
Support.
moved by Commissioner Singleton, supported by Commissioner Edwards. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Isom.
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats.
Yes.
Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin.
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards.
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed. Motion carried.
All right, come to the approval of accounts payable listings. Motion to approve, is there any support? Support. Been moved by Commissioner Adams, supported by Commissioner Edwards. Is there any discussion? All right. Move that in first, but we'll start with Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you, Pro Kim. Page 6, last at the bottom. Green Central, bunch of questions. It's like when somebody called me on Ring Central, sometimes kids answer, or sometimes some lady named Marilyn answers. Sometimes nobody answers, and sometimes it works right. And so I don't know, and I think this has been like an issue we've been having for a minute. And I believe that's why we came with the business card that just has like direct sale, if I'm not mistaken. So if there was a mic right here, I could call voicemail. Be like, oh man, you know the commissioner had a bunch of kids.
Thank you, Commissioner Edwards. Somebody speak to Ring Central. Is there any problem we have with Ring Central, please? Ring Central, there's no issues with Ring Central.
Nothing other than, if I may,
They had the first. Commissioner, and then we'll
what
come
you
to
said about Ring Central.
Ring Central, we'll come right back.
Well, I'll speak on Ring Central.
Commissioner Henry?
I will speak on that since we're having that conversation, but it doesn't work. I get all the commissioner Griffin Clark's emails, her voicemails and text messages. So it's not working. And we've all been complaining about it, and we're still paying for it. But since that was my only statement about Green Central, I didn't get a full disclosure of the attorney and the engineering firm. And so therefore, my vote will be no on these AP this time. And there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered from the last month about these charges. And so I'm very unhappy about how we're handling our money business. No questions, just approving it.
Commissioner.
As you know, we have got a new finance director. He came August the 1st. And he's commuting back and forth, 3 hours there, 3 hours back. And I know that's very expensive, especially gas wise. So I know some companies, pay transition, money and reimbursements. Some companies, even I've seen in the newspaper also, I think on our city website, seen where somebody's paying people to move to Ben Harbor, some companies and stuff, it's paying a certain amount of money. So I think he should get like gas mileage reimbursement. There is not taxable as long as it's lower than IRS mileage. Also for a stipend, which are tax-free too. It's actually a benefit for the company, So I would like to make a motion that we give Mr. James Williams a gas stipend or a gas mileage reimbursement.
Second.
We're gonna suspend the rules, or, is this something that we can, let me say this real quick. Is this something that has been budgeted in the budget? Or can we push that to the next meeting and then bring that back forward? Because what's gonna happen right now is we don't know the cost. It's gonna cost all month or all the rest of the year, and the past resolution as such. We will definitely, I don't wanna invade his privacy, but to know how much he's spending in gas, how much he's spending in whatever. And I think that's part of the negotiation for employment. I think it's part of the negotiation for employment. He already knew that he wanted to drive. I don't, and that's no offense to him, but I think that the conditions of employment meant that he was going to have to drive from here or there to get to where he needed to be now.
Point of order. Can we send this?
No, I'm not even
Committee.
finished.
All right, but can I just finish explaining real quick? So I would even recommend, if we're gonna do that, instead of paying for gas mileage, give them a city car, let them drive the city car back and forth, utilize the city gas card, instead of paying for somebody's personal vehicle to be filled up and used on their own business. And that vehicle is strategically only gonna be used for city business, but that's something that needs to come in a different way, but I'm not disagreeing.
Okay, so I knew somebody was gonna say, well, he knew he was gonna be driving back and forth, of course, who don't know. But another thing is, I said gas mileage or stipend, and you can set the amount you give him. You don't have to pay him back what all you use. We can set the amount. If we want to give him any kind of
Are
stipend
we
or
suspending the rules?
reimbursement.
Are we gonna suspend the rules?
I thought we can make motions on it anytime.
No,
we
yeah,
can't.
suspend the rules, just.
Okay, are we suspending or that's no?
Actually, if I may.
Is there a motion to suspend the rules or
Can
what?
we send this to committee? Can we send this to
Would you
Personnel
let
and
him
Finance Committee?
speak?
Can we just have, let's do this quickly as possible, as fast as possible. Commissioner Isom, who was the chairman of Personnel and Finance,
We have this on the agenda.
talk loud so they can.
We have this on the agenda for Wednesdays.
So this is already on the agenda for Wednesday?
So did it pass?
We're gonna discuss it Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
Oh, this coming up,
2 days
personnel
prior.
finance. Oh, okay, I haven't got the agenda yet. Oh, well, great. Thank you.
And I will say this,
Well, I'd like to take my motion back.
thank you.
Up for discussion.
You can take it back. Thank you. I will say this though, and there's a whole lot of people driving out of town that should be driving. So we need to do an audit on gas cards and vehicle usage too. Because if
Inventory.
if you're driving out of town and you just driving out of town, you should be using a city car. Commissioner Singleton had his hand raised.
Oh, well, they already took it, it's going through committee this Wednesday, so. Something we have been discussing during the hiring of Mr. Williams, so it's coming to the committee this Wednesday. Hopefully we get that ironed out.
Sounds good to me.
Commissioner Adams.
I want to apologize to everybody because I really can't see very well right now. Eyes are still dilated. But I do remember when I first got this, I just wanted an explanation as to, we went through this last year with a line item per a commissioner. Why is that? And why does it come through the city's personnel and the city's finances?
Explain, Commissioner better.
I think it's in the form of $700 something per a commissioner.
She's questioning to know what happened with the $700.
No, to be released to a in a commissioner's name.
$700.
Was it something that this body voted on?
$700 for barbecue. City manager, can you speak to that? So we can- Says it was a donation.
We donate this taxpayers' dollars? What, I mean,
Just acting as a commissioner. Some money there.
I just want to know why we do things in a manner in which it comes through the city government. If we are doing things outside, taking donations that should be taken care of with those people, it should not be coming through the city's finances, period.
Did they answer your question?
No.
Mr. Pro Tem, the Commissioners, this is a donation that was made for the relief of the family.
Oh,
Friday night?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
my bad.
well,
I
I
can
got
answer
the
that.
floor. Ms. Devers, I mean, I
Well, no,
guess I'm,
Actually, the city manager had the floor.
yeah, please, let him finish,
Let him
because I,
finish.
maybe he can give me clarity on what I have.
City manager, that was for the dinner, that was Monday night, I mean,
Yes.
Friday night.
We approved a donation for dinner.
It's been approved tonight.
I mean, stuff like that usually goes to committee. So any commissioner can just plan something and we can just expect for the residents' dollars to pay for it on a whim. I mean, I'm asking for clarity.
This is a donation that was given
Private individual.
to private individuals.
Oh, gosh.
Right.
But even still, okay, they gave it to the city.
and we are reimbursing, dispersing it to the people that did the service. I mean, a clear explanation is all it really takes.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner, Adams, through City Manager, do you mind if I direct those speaks?
This item came to our attention initially through Commissioner Andrews, that there was a private person, businessman, that was willing to make a donation to the city for a employee appreciation cookout. He specifically asked in order to make certain that there was no issue of a commissioner doing something or anything like that, if the city would submit a letter requesting the donation. I drafted the letter, sent it to him, and the letter and the checks came back specifically for that purpose. We submitted it to the finance director with the understanding that they would do a check to go to pay for those items. There are no taxpayer monies involved in any type.
Mr. Little, thank you very much. But see, we can eliminate this type of stuff when we take the proper procedures and take stuff through committee to where we, the elected officials, all of us are informed. Thank you. Jesus.
Commissioner?
I just heard Mr. Little said that, Mr. Commissioner Everett submitted, asked, they said that was a company that willing to donate. But I remember the last meeting, Mr. Everett said he was doing this out of his pocket. Pull the tape.
Now, look, yeah, this is on accounts payable. Let's kind of keep this on the accounts payable. Let's keep this on accounts payable. We can go back and forth with this. This is solely stating that there was a donation that came from a business owner for $700 to sponsor the dinner. To sponsor the dinner for barbecue.
The
Which is
last
a
minute there.
local owned minority business that the money went to for barbecue. $700 worth of it.
And that's fine, but let's keep it accurate. What it said.
Madam Clerk, just for a point of clarification, when you call the tape, when you listen to the tape, what is suggested that it will come out of an individual file?
I'm not gonna say either way without reviewing the tape.
Could you review the tape and then email it to the commission?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Commissioner Edwards, I would not disrespect you, got your hand up.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'll just continue doing what I'm doing at this moment. Since we on payables listings,
Yes.
so it was already explained. So I got nothing else to say.
Thank you. All right, making a motion to accept, the accounts payable listing. It's already been made, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes,
Commissioner Adams,
I guess I should have asked the question because, well, I can bring it up next month if I have some questions. Yes, yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
No,
Mayor Mohammed, motion carried.
this brings us to citizens' comments. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes maximum per speaker. And those who want to speak, please sign in with our beloved clerk, who will then let us know who is on the listing. Let's please stick to 3 minutes. I apologize. And know that, it's taking 3 minutes.
clerk.
Archie Davis.
How everybody doing? Okay, all right. I want to thank, I ain't gonna hold too long, I ain't gonna talk too long, I got an hour long to talk, but I just want to take time to let y'all know that, 3 weeks ago, my father passed away. He was honorary fire chief along with 5 other guys. And I want to thank the Snaky guys and thank the mayor and the chief and the fire department for doing the liturgy and honored him. So only thing I want to say, the mayor told me that he gonna try to do something for those guys. And the only living one that's living now is John Billups. He's the only one that's living from the original from 1957. And they were the first 5 black firemen in this city. And my father passed away 3 weeks ago, and he worked for a long time. Then he went to Whirlpool and worked there till 2005. He retired. So we want to keep the legacy going to honor these 5 men. And John Phillips, like I say, he's 91 years old. He's the only living one left. So the mayor told me he's gonna get with the council and see can we do something for them great men. And I told him, well, just don't do it for my father, do it for all 5 of them. That'll be something special in my heart that I always remember of my father. And stuff. It was 65 years ago, and a lot of people, I know you guys didn't know it, but he was down here, and they fought. When I look at it, firemen, they risk their lives every day, just like the police officers risk their lives every day. And I don't want to not have this unturned. I want to recognize these, my father and these guys that paved the way for our city. And they fight, they was doing it every day. And along with the police officer, they continue to do things in the community. And when my father went and saved a dog years ago and gave mouth resuscitation, and I was very proud. I stayed on 770 Buck Street. And I used to ride, and every time the fire trucks come up Highland, they go down McCoy Street. I said, there go my father here, toot the horn, and say, there go my father, and Mr. Billups, I talked with him, and I love all of them, and they in soul heaven, but I want to make sure that the council do something, they honor their names to keep their legacy going. That's all. And I want to thank you guys.
Spencer Nesbitt.
Good evening. I just have a couple questions tonight. I was listening to the news that the city of Niles and Benton Harbor is receiving some money, millions of dollars. And my question, they keep saying, and then what I have heard on the news, that the money is for the downtown area. And if one thing that they have specifically stated in there is the art district. Now, my question to the city manager and whoever want to answer this is the fact that how can that area only get money, and when the residence areas over there need money to live? Those people do not even live in the city. They're going to make that profit and go home and do whatever they want to do. But we are still living the way that we are living now. So I would like to know where this money is going to be allocated, and what can we do, or what have you all done to say this is what we want done within the city? My thing is they're trying to make this a place where it's only people come in and just review and go back home. Just like you go to an island or something, they only show the area that is beautiful, but you go 2 miles east, west, south, north, whatever, you get totally chaotic. And the other thing is that I like to know, we have people in the streets, there's things in the streets that are being torn up. Snow is around the corner. Are those things going to be fixed or repaired before winter, before it starts snowing? I know that we're getting water in, that's great. But if those areas are going to be fixed, the holes and things in the streets going to be fixed, do we need additional contractors to fill those holes? I'm asking if the city manager can answer those during the city comments if we have an answer for that. It's not that. We have a plan now. You're buying a sweeper, and you're buying a chipper. That should make the city look better. We have a place to work. All I was asking for was a plan. And we got the plan. I met with the city manager. You never mentioned to me at that meeting, August 22nd, that we was buying a sweeper or a chipper. I don't know whether you knew about it or you just, as a top secret or something that you couldn't tell me. But that's all I was asking for all the time, was a plan for something. You cannot run anything without a plan. Now, I'd like to know whether or not we're gonna have the streets fixed, because you can't even run the sweeper with the holes and things in the streets. So it doesn't make sense. So they'll be there next year, next spring or whatever. So that's what I would like to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Medley.
Nikisha Williams.
Lakeisha Williams.
That's me. I'm trying to keep this 3 minutes. I ain't gonna lie to you, I might go over. I was hoping to see Maurice Bruce and Bill the inspector, because I want to make sure this on the record. Don't delete me. Because I bought a house from the auction. I called the city manager department. Whoever that lady was to answer the phone laughed when I said I was coming down here. I want to know who she was, so I can laugh back to let her know I'm here. Because y'all tried to play me. Like when I say all over about this house that I purchased from that auction, that's not my fault. That y'all sold something to the treasury. That because I talked to the treasury myself. She said she had talked to the county twice. Not county. Talked to the city twice. Never once did that say that y'all was supposed to do anything to the house or the house was not supposed to be listed. So then all of a sudden, when I want to get a permit, I have on recording too of Bill saying, "Oh, you got 30 days to fix this roof," or we go just knock it down because Mr. Bruce said I got to save myself.
Yeah, Bruce said, I don't want to give it to these
Oh,
people.
Oh, that's my husband.
Well, he got to list his name.
Yeah, he put me on that Ricky Wood.
Yeah, he'll come after you come. We just got to do this because the government meeting is being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just legality that we have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So please finish speaking now.
So I done seen all of the code compliance. The assessors done came out. Everybody, very much compliments. I mean, I done got people that stopped and offered to purchase the house now after we done fix this roof. But I went through HE double sticks and hot water trying to get this permit that would nobody let me get. Like I said, the person that answered that city manager phone chuckled when I said I want to speak to him. I went down the line. Somebody was go talk to me. But then I sent emails, no replies. But then, I don't know. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I ain't vote for none of y'all. But it's just ridiculous. Y'all want somebody to pay city taxes, but then y'all treating us like garbage. When we trying to build in this community, I could took my money somewhere else, but I still came back. I was born here and still trying to be here. I'm not no uneducated person to be getting treated like that over a permit. But then after I get everything done, now everybody, want to give claps? No, that's not what I came here for. Like I'm mad. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. And I only want it on the record because if it come down to me getting treated unfairly, because everybody else told me their permits was not 30 days. I done talked to a lot of people. They say ain't no permit ever been 30 days. And you gonna tell me 30 days, which it don't matter, the roof already done anyway. It's just a portion left. But it's just the fact for you to sit here and say it on recording, those young people don't have no money to fix no roof. Just because we don't look like it don't mean we ain't got it. But I'm done. I'll let my husband speak since y'all say he can talk. I'm up there. No, they can let somebody else go because you can go. Because I got all the pictures and recordings now.
Thank you.
Michael Hoy.
Was he next?
I'll put him on.
Was next on the
You
list?
want to move him up on the list?
Yeah, he was next on the list.
He wasn't on the list, but I added to the list.
You got him to the list. You want to speak?
Yeah, all right. I just want to let you know, I'm
everything she said, and then the guy Bill, he was down there talking to Maurice behind the glass at the station right here, and Maurice was like, "Don't give them no permit," and the guy Bill was like, "I have to give those people a permit. They won't go away. Those people, who is those people?" I'm looking at. I damn near went behind the glass on Maurice, like you would just let him say that. Like, that's what I want to put out there, because she already finished the rest, because my attitude ain't but it y'all already know who I am.
Thank you.
Michael Hoy.
Michael Hoy.
Someone wants to go now.
Can you give us, what's the address of the property?
I put it on there.
770 Wakanda.
771.
Yeah. The young 33-year-old couple that purchased that put a new roof on when they thought those people couldn't do it. And we black.
Thank you. Michael Hoy.
Good evening.
And don't live off the system while y'all taking from them.
Your time is moving.
Thank you.
Finish your thought.
Fine. I got time.
Give him 3 minutes.
I got my 3 minutes.
Give them 3 minutes.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's totally fine. Skin of a crocodile, the bite of a flea.
Rodney Alexander Jr.
How y'all doing? My name is Rodney Alexander Jr. I'm actually from product of Ben Harbor. I actually played 10 years overseas playing basketball professionally. Now I'm actually back in the community, actually trying to help give back to the kids. So I'm basically be like the big brother that honestly I didn't have, put it that way. Right now, I'm actually using Second Baptist Gym, and to be honest, I have about let's say 120 kids coming to the gym every week. To be honest, I don't even charge none of Ben Harbor kids, because I was that kid honestly like didn't have it. I was the kid that, I mean, we couldn't afford the good stuff in life, but now I do have. I don't know how to put it. Now I'm actually doing better now in life, so I actually want to basically give back to the kids. I would love to sit down and talk about the Armory at some point, because I started at the Armory. That was my base. That was basically where I started playing basketball at. And to be honest, a lot of us did. Wilson did as well. Drake Bill. We all basically started at the Armory. And I love to at some point sit down and talk to somebody about the Armory. I mean, to be honest, talk about honestly the youth and actually how to help with the youth, whether it's tutor. I mean, anything, not just basketball. Whether it's dance. I mean, whatever. I would just sit down and talk to. I mean, any of you about basically helping the youth and how to basically do better with the youth. That's it. Thank you.
No more comments.
Thank you. Sit down items, is there a motion to approve, or are there any items that need to be separated? Commissioner,
I would like to separate the, appointment to the Brownfield Development Authority, Michael Davis Yates. Also, the resolution to rename Broadway Park to June Lewis Park. The two at the bottom.
thank you.
I'll separate the first one.
Separate the first one. First one, and the two bottom ones. Anything else? Motion to approve the consent calendar without the items separated.
So moved.
Been motioned by Commissioner Singleton, been supported by Commissioner Henderson. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seeds,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson. Yes. Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed, motion carried.
All right. First item that was separated was the appointment to Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, Michael Davis Yates. Could somebody read? Oh, I'm sorry. Don't start that. Resolution approving TRC BH LLC, first use permit for adult use marijuana retail facility located at 326 East Main Street.
Motion.
Support. It's been motioned by Commissioner Adams, been supported by Commissioner Isom. Any debate?
Well, not so much as debate, but thank you, Mr. Chair. And there's no way that I will hold up progress of job creation or building on our tax base. And especially being the sponsor of all the flack that I got for that to take place. I just recently learned that we were on the right track to begin with, had we had the right legal to help us. New York City is about to give preferential treatment for those that were wrongfully accused of crimes, jailed, in prison for marijuana. And I just hope that this body will take a look at changing some things, since we have to renegotiate or look over these contracts every year. Every year. And with that, I will no longer hold up the process of what should be up and running. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Seeds,
Abstain.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson, Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed, motion carried.
All right. Appointment to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, Michael Davis Yates.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Singleton, supported by Commissioner Henderson. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Commissioner?
First of all, I'd like to know, is Mr. Michael Davis here? Mr. Michael Davis Yates?
No, he was up in commission, he was up in week.
Uh,
Yeah, but they should be here too. Highly involved.
Okay, well, I had questions and he's not here. We're wrong there, unless it's other discussion.
Commissioner Adams?
Thank you, Chair. Chairman Pro Tem Seats. I didn't catch it when it first came through committee, when this young man came and he answered some questions, but more than anything, I listened to him and I was reminded of a contract that a development agreement that I'm waiting for the Harbor Flats down there, where the old flats was, behind River, on the side of River Terrace. And I was reminded that the young man made the statement, quote unquote, that he actually worked for Cornerstone. And I find it problematic that during our last month's meeting, Cornerstone came up with some receipts after almost 12 years, wanting the reimbursement for $123,000. And I'm not finished. I'm done with that. But I just find it problematic with the way that people position themselves in politics, in government, to position themselves as your elected officials to play with your dollars. And people want to know why we don't get anything done in the community. And this is why. I'm waiting on a development agreement because, and I don't speak for the Brownfield Authority Board as a whole, but to my knowledge and my knowing of sitting on the board basically since 2002 and have not missed a meeting, even when we were neutered by the emergency manager, I continue to go and record so that I remain knowledgeable, because I promised the community that I would watch your dollars, and I watch them very closely, which is why I have so many questions when dollars come up. So I'm still waiting on the development agreement, because within the development agreement, we always make plans to pay out such large amounts of money over a small period of time in increments, not just 100, 2 million, or whatever we have recaptured for a development. And it just doesn't, and I don't want to stop anybody from serving. And I would like to think that those of us that serve with truth, honesty, and holding ourselves accountable to the people that we step up to serve. And the young man just wants to be a part of what's growing in the community. And I just have to trust that. Just like when people vote for us, they trust us. They trust us.
Thank you.
They just stay woke and pay attention.
Commissioner. Yeah, well, he is from Benton Harbor. From Benton Harbor. Commissioner Ronald Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem. We tell our kids to go off and do things, just like young man here, Mr. Alexander, come back. This young man, I know him. I know his mother. She spent a lifetime in the Benton Harbor area schools, taught the elementary school until she retired and eventually died from cancer. That was her only child. Her husband was a city employee that retired from here at the Kenny Yates. So this young man did, been around, grew up in Benton Harbor, and they were some upstanding folks, always fair. And had he even killed mine, and I think they instilled that in him. So I think he would do a real good job. I think he had the heart of the community, and the best interest for the community. I think he waver if something would go funny. I think he would go let somebody know. I'm just glad to see young men come back to this community and want to get involved, do some things, give back.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem. This item did come to my committee, and Commissioner Isom and I and the other lady that sits on our committee actually got opportunities to talk to this young man. He's owned several businesses. He's an engineer, but just a young African-American gentleman who wants to serve in the city of Benton Harbor. And so we can't say what somebody's intentions are because they want to serve. There's not a lot of people stepping up and saying that they want to serve on these committees And so we need to give people an opportunity and also the benefit of the doubt about their intentions. This young man was sincere and honest in what he wanted to bring to this community and why he even wanted to serve on this committee. And I think it behooves us, when young people come back to this community, which they should, which we want, to actually run this city like it's supposed to be run, invest in this community, raise their families in this community. And that's what I saw with this young man. He just had a baby, he and his wife, they're young, and they want to be invested in this community, which is why he wants to serve, which is one of the best ways to learn about a committee is through service. And so I was excited. We asked him a lot of questions. He answered whatever questions we wanted to answer. Every commissioner had an opportunity to be here to ask those questions. I don't see hardly anybody that we sent through this process that's here at this meeting tonight. So he's not the only person that may have had other commitments tonight, him being an engineer. But he was just a great example of young people, specifically African-American men who want to serve in this community. So he was a stellar example of somebody that we should support being on these committees. So I support that, and if there's no other questions, I call for the question.
Question has been called by Commissioner Henderson. Any support?
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed, motion carries.
Next, the resolution to rename Broadway Park to June Woods Park. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Henderson. It's been supported by Commissioner Jerry Edwards. Commissioner, I don't want to mess up your name, so I ain't gonna
Clark
say it.
Griffin.
I just say Commissioner. It's all you.
Okay, my thing is, I see it's a resolution to rename, Broadway Park in the Wood. I did a little research, and I know that he planted trees and a couple other little things in the 1800s. He died in 1908. So he moved to Ben Harbor when he was 67 years old in Tennessee. So I know we got a lot of unsung heroes right in Ben Harbor. We got a lot of people that homegrown right in Ben Harbor that done did great things. So, like Miss Betty Shawn, she just died. She was 100 years old. She had Betty Clean. You know, I don't see anything for her. That we just found out about the first 5 black firemen. You know, and they did in the 1957. Mr. Archie Davis Sr. just died in August. I don't see anything. I know he did something in his funeral, but I don't even see pictures of the firemen or anything. Then we also have, and like even Mr. Johnny Bill, he's still living. He's 91 years old. Let's honor people that's here, homegrown in Ben Harbor, that's still doing stuff, you know, that's right now. And then I remember a few months ago, Miss Beth Hare Lewis came. She came to get a street named after her mom. Her mom lived on that street for 50 years. And everybody knows the Harris. Miss Jean Harris, Mr. Jean Harris, the wife, Nikki Hare, the daughter, Miss Beth Hare. They have done a lot of things in the community. Coming home, coming together was what, 20 years? And I remember the chair legislator told her she did not support it. And she told her she would pass it through, but it never came to us. So I don't know what happened with that. So, like my point, we got a lot of people right in Ben Harbor, from Ben Harbor, that's did a lot of great things, and nothing's been named. We got people even just been denied stuff that ain't happening. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson had her hand.
Thank you, Chair. Pro Tem. Again, this item came through our committee, the legislative committee. We had people here to answer any questions about Mr. June Woods, who planted a lot of the trees that we see in the community. And so, which is why this item came before us. But I also absolutely agree with our fourth ward commissioner. There are a lot of great people that lived in the city of Benton Harbor, and what the goal is to acknowledge all of those people, because it also came up about veterans. And so there's a lot of unsung heroes in our community. And as we find out about many of those unsung heroes, the goal is to acknowledge and to honor them in some kind of way. And so I've been talking about how, talking to some people about how to do that, because there are so many, as she stated, and I agree, there are a lot of people who deserve some kind of award or some kind of honor, but just figuring out how to do that in a way that would represent the community in a great way. And this is a start to many of those things that will be happening in terms of honoring people in our community. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Commissioner Singleton, then Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem. This did come through the Public Safety and Park Recreation Committee. Also, presentation was done, several questions and was asked, and explanations, and very enlightened to hear, that something still standing from something that happened by somebody African American in from 1800s. So it was brought through that committee, and that committee did agree and sent it to the next process, which was through the legislative committee. So then went through the process. I do also concur that as we find out more and more, about our history here, that we should, do those things. So, I think these are the starts of making that happen. I think this commission has also took that direction too. Maybe Yarborough Library, what's the Cook Municipal Building, so as we find more and more about our history here, we should do those things. The latest ones with the Emma Hull flats, so people are getting recognized, and that's a good thing. Hopefully when we all gone, our kids, their kids, see something that's was left behind, and kind of can track back and see how our history was here in Benton Harbor.
Thank you, Commissioner Singleton. Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Pro Tem Mayor Seats. I heard a presentation, and I guess for me, the name just doesn't sound familiar. And I'm not ashamed of my age. I'm up there. I'd like to know some of this person's family members. I mean, are any of them here? I mean, when you, I don't know. I guess when you taking a whole park, I used to play in that park when there was a swimming pool for the whole community. We used to have some wonderful times up there. And I'm sure that somebody used to host those events that park probably should be honored in. I can see honoring Mr. Wood, because the trees that he probably planted are the ones that's falling down now. Now, if you want to plant some trees in Mr. Woods, I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, but to name a whole park of, I mean, it would cause the children, I gotta admit, to go and look up history, but how much will they find? And looking this person up. I just wish that when it comes to stuff like this, that come through a committee so fast, that an item that's been tabled twice for racial equity would come through this committee, these elected officials as fast in this predominantly Black community. Because we could do a whole lot honoring our ancestors, period. Period. A whole lot of ancestors, ourselves, development, and so much more. But it's still tabled. But we're gonna honor somebody. I'm 63 years old. I never heard of the name. But I would like to find out more about him because we all matter. I don't know, but for me, the whole park, no. I thought it was just a plaque on something to place in the park to entice a person to look up the history because he planted trees throughout the corridor of Broadway Park. I don't know.
Thank you,
But
Commissioner
naming
Adams.
the whole park, rename Broadway Park, no.
Just for a quick moment, City Attorney, is there a specific way that this has to go about in renaming city parks or city buildings, or does it just take a vote, 2/3, or just a vote for majority, or does that have to be referendum?
Believe that this is the appropriate way through the resolution. It went through two committees, legislation and parks and public safety. So I believe that this is the way.
Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I don't know, I heard about this, 3 months ago. I've been reading it at least twice a month to keep up on it, because I know it was coming through committee, and it came through public safety, and it came here. I don't know, most of this stuff that we separating and saying nobody knows, maybe I'm in the wrong city. Or maybe I should say, if you quit focusing on where I'm getting money for that ain't in your pocket, you might be able to figure out, oh, we did do this.
Let's stay on the.
Oh, now we want point of order and
No,
personal
we're
privilege.
not gonna do that.
Call for the question.
Commissioner Edwards?
The Honorable Mayor, no.
Yes.
The Honorable Mayor.
I vote yes.
Whoa. The Honorable Mayor has yet to speak. And then Commissioner Henry, Commissioner Henry, then the Mayor. Yes, Third Ward Commissioner Henry, I do apologize.
Thank you. Well, with the history of African-American history being pretty much erased out of Ben Harbor's history, it's a good thing that we found some person of color that was here doing whatever it was, he was here during that time. So we starting to grab our history, and if we do this, we should go further and bring out more history of where we came from, how we got here. Because I know that everybody think we came in on the boat or the ship or whatever, but there's some really great history from African Americans in Ben Harbor, and it didn't start after white flight. We were here all the time. So I think that any time that we educate ourselves or our children about our existence is good. And Broadway Park is just a street. Broadway Street. It means nothing to us, but now Junewood Park means something to us.
Thank you, Commissioner. Honorable Mayor Bugs Mahoney.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just like to first of all apologize for my tardiness. I was on the panel with Chief Guinness and Judge Mayfield, Trooper Burton, Pastor Montgomery, and the Boys and Girls Club to stop the violence meeting for them. So, I'm in support, and I'll echo the sentiments of the Third Ward Commissioner, which it is her ward. When I think of Tusconia Park, which is named after a family. When I think of Jean Clark Park, that's named after a family. When I think of Hall Park, that's named after a family. When I think of Benton Harbor, that's named after the U.S. Senator, who was not even from Benton Harbor, Thomas Benton. This county is named after Attorney General from Georgia, John M. Berrien, because when Andrew Jackson struck the state of Michigan into the Union, he said, I have to have 10 counties named after me and my county. So you got Van Buren, right? You got Jackson County, Cass County, Berrien County, Calhoun County. So wise people understand the connection to history. And this is not to besmirch anybody, because I respect the opinions of everybody on this panel. But June Woods, you know, our history was, it's a stolen legacy.
Yeah. We
got, I may be out of order, Chair, but we have Big Archie in the audience, where if it were not for the passing of his father, who was one of the first firefighters, we didn't even have a history recorded in the fire department. Okay. So this is important tonight. Planting trees, a tree represents life. Not only was he planted trees, but he was an entrepreneur, a black man in business at that time, which was totally taboo. And that's the kind of history that our young people, who is that? And he lived long into his old age. So I think it's worthy tonight, and I certainly can support it. I want to thank the panel for digging up the history, because I had never heard it. And I'm not ashamed. But now that I know better, I'm going to do better.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm voting yes tonight.
Good question. Will we be planting some trees?
I would recommend that we had a youth do it.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying, more conversation, the way I.
Question has been called. Call for the roll, please.
Commissioner Edwards,
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson,
Yes.
Commissioner Henry,
Yeah.
Commissioner Isom,
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats,
Yes.
Commissioner Adams,
Thank you, Mayor Mohammed.
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin,
No.
Mayor Mohammed,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. That brings us to communications, a report of staff officials. We would like to start off with Deputy Chief Clark.
No report to see.
The story.
Thank you. Good evening. I just
They don't work. Not yet.
I just wanted to let the commission know that the work for the year has started. So same person that we've had for the last several years. So if you notice her, she's got the orange t-shirt. If you notice her out and about knocking on doors, that's what she's doing. If you have any questions, problems, let me know. Each morning she does let me know what area she's in, and I do text that over to Chief McGinnis so that he's aware of where she's at and where she's working for the day. That is it. Thank you.
I'm sorry. What did you say she was doing?
Please.
The field work, out looking at houses, checking the information, measuring if it needs to be remeasured.
City Attorney.
Yes, so so tomorrow and Thursday, Tuesday and Thursday next week and Friday next week, I have 4 jury trials and a bench trial as it relates to blighted properties in the city. And I did hear the Williams talk about 770 Wakanda. I did talk to code compliance last week, and I think we talked about, I don't know if we talked about these this particular property. But we talked about, they didn't know if they should give building permits to people who they've cited for nuisance, for blight, for properties that have been vacant, abandoned, condemned for 8, 10, 12 years. And I said, we just want compliance. So even if they've been cited, if they come down and ask request for a permit, yeah, you have to give them a permit. And they agreed with that. And then I think and that might, 771 comment might have been one of their issues. And I think we got it squared away. But at the same time, when we've got homes that have sat vacant and are open to the environment and the elements for 8, 10 years, that's one of the big problems that the city has. That's where a lot of illegal dumping happens. That's where, apparently there's an issue with fires starting these vacant homes. They're attracting nuisances for the kids. We don't want anyone to get hurt. So slowly but surely, we're trying to make this turn. And again, if we've got people coming in who are rehabbing, more power. That's what we want to see.
Thank you for having comments tonight. City, I don't know the official title of it, Finance Director, I'm sorry. I do apologize, Finance Director Williams.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I just want to address the commission last time had concerns about the payments to McKenna. They wanted to know where the dollars were going. And so those first 2 payments, they went for the master plan. It was to create the Benton Harbor Master Plan design and study maps. That was one thing. And then they were drafting copies for the Benton Harbor webpage. That was another thing. And then they were to prepare an advisory committee for the planning week to follow up on communication. That was another thing. And to update the project of the website. And then they were writing a copy for the Benton Harbor website. And then they had Gibbs Planning Group that developed in the 2022 retail market assessment. Also, I just want to let you guys know that we are still preparing for the up and coming audit that's going to be taking place. It's looking good right now. We have our ducks in a row. And last time I had spoke, Commissioner Henderson had concerns about the infrastructure partnership. So I did speak with the treasurer, and she referred me to Dan Fetty, that's over there that heads that area of infrastructure that we're going to be discussing. So that's looking good. And so I also wanted to talk about the discussion about the delinquent water payments. And our records show that we have 1,542 residents that are 30 days over delinquent on their water bill. And then we have 1,407 residents that are 60 days past due on their water bill, for a total of 2,949 delinquencies. And then let me see here. Also, it was a question about the city-owned vehicles and the condition that they're in. We have 2 city-owned vehicles. It's a 2016 Ford F-150 at 7,411 miles. It's in good condition. And we have, it said estimated miles. So, and then we have a 2016 Ford F-250 that has 41,950 miles and is in good condition. Okay, and just one last thing here is it's the Paw Resurfacing project that's taking place. Yeah, and so I spoke with Jason McCourt, and he said that that project is to start April 1st, 2023 through June 1st, 2023. And when they start, I asked him what are they going to do when they're starting. And he said that they're going to start with the curb work and the driveway work when they get started. And with that, I
thank you. Thank you very much. City Clerk.
Just preparing for the upcoming election. Absentee ballots will be available at the end of the month. They probably will not go out in the mail until the beginning of October.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Director Little?
Just like to mention a couple of things. For one, as September is drawing to a close, that also is the close of the federal fiscal year. For us, it also has a special significance in that we've got two of our major projects that are preparing to go before MISTA, October 3rd. That's corner of Wall Street, which is about a $25 million project, and Project T, which is a $33 million plus project. Both are coming up for review, and hopefully we'll get funded, and this project should keep moving. At the same time, we are moving along well with our HUD projects, but we're still under the gun in terms of making sure that we meet the expenditure requirements. As you know, every first week in May, they do the assessment in terms of what your total money is and what total amount is that you spent. And each year, as you get the next year's money, that gets added into that formula. So we are continuing to move forward on that. We've also had a couple of requests from HUD regarding issues with our policies and procedures that deal specifically with, for example, something that's we've not used since I've been here, but previously there was a problem with paying for an inspector out of the CDBG funds. And there were issues they wanted us to resolve with that, and one of them specifically was in the areas that are eligible, low and moderate income areas, what methodology would we use to show the effectiveness if we did pay for an inspector out of HUD funds? That's one of those things that they're asking for clarification and so forth on. Most of the other stuff that was in that September 19 monitoring letter from 2019, we've resolved, but we still have two items remaining. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. City Manager? Thank you. Commissioner Griffin?
I just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and maybe the next meeting, Commissioner Seats will remember my name.
Just got brain full.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Henry?
Thank you, Chair. I guess I want to say about our master plan. Doesn't seem to be reaching the people. So I know we had a payment, and I need to have a question asked through the chair if we paid that last payment to McKenna. Because I'm having a problem, because the job is not even half done. So I need to know about that payment. Also, Project T is in the Old Mercy property. I've heard public hearing 3 times since the project's been presented to us, but no public hearing. So I don't know what's going on with that. The last report came from our director and said that it will go to MISTA, and MISTA will make the decision if it's gonna move forward. But people in my ward don't know what's going on, and the ones that do don't like it. So I don't know how we're gonna handle it, but it's gotta be handled, and we gotta give the people an opportunity to know what's going on in their city. The money belongs to the citizen. It do not belong to the city. It's not for brick and mortar. It's for it's for humans. So I don't know what's going on, but if I don't get support from my 8 other colleagues, then it's on the residents when it's time to vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Evans.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. It's gonna sound like rambling, but this is my 4 minutes. It's kind of a thing like I'm blind, medical technology comes along, and he says, hey, I can help you see 20/20, no contacts, no medication, free. Cool, I'll take it. Nah, we can't do it. Why not? Because you remaining blind helps everybody. But if you all of a sudden get your sight, it will offend people. So it's best for you to stay blind. I'm done. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd just like to thank all the residents for coming out. There was a lot of information spoken about tonight. Just have a couple questions for our community and economic development person. You can answer it later in terms of Project T. How are residents able to get ready for the homes that are coming into the area? For the 10 homes that will be built on Project T, how is HUD approaching that process? Because I know it's a year or more for residents specifically to get ready for that. Just how is HUD approaching that to get folks ready? And lawn cutting season, what is the last official day for lawn cutting season in the city?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get back to you on that. Commissioner Adams.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, residents. You're some beautiful silhouettes this evening. I can make some of the faces out, but not everybody's because my eyes are still in dilation. But it's always a pleasure to serve you. I want to address Mr. Archie first of all because I've been so busy with so many things that an opportunity came and I did share it with Chief McGinnis. And if you have an email, I would really like to send it to you as well as the chief of our fire chief, as well as this, I think, President Pillar young man. I have some information that would be wonderful. This year was too soon, but an opportunity has come up for some funding to plan an event for 9/11 next year. And I was thinking in my mind, it would be the perfect opportunity to honor your dad, first Black fireman, as well as the other 4. And hopefully the one that's still with us will still be here.
Thank you.
And I'll get that to you ASAP
All right,
before we miss out on the deadline.
Okay.
I'm so glad to see what I've saw this evening on the news with Pastor Torres Montgomery. That young father, he's doing the thing. He's doing the thing. And I remember when I supported over on the county level for him to achieve that building, he said that it was going to be for community service. And he has proven himself to be a terrific servant. A terrific servant. I still say it. I didn't want to be a commissioner that looks like I'm doing something that I should not be doing. So I started a nonprofit because I could see that I wasn't going to be able to get anything done. And I wanted to turn it over to the people of the community to run it themselves. I went as far as supporting a nonprofit, making sure that they had the $800-900 that they needed to come to fruition to be able to do those type of things. To keep things from being stagnated and set dormant, because it's just who I am. It's just who I am. And not only giving funds, but things to help events happen and take place. These are the type of things that I've done over the years. And I usually don't talk about how I bless a person, but a person ain't gonna keep on stabbing me in my back and mouthing off about stuff, fooling, and keeping my people blind. I want to see this young man work with every other organization in this community with a program to get our armory up and running. Because it's, 10 years overdue? Yeah. The arms keep changing, or something amongst the arms keep changing that we can't do what we need to for our own. And every last one of us look just like you. Why would we fight it? Somebody tell me. Answer that question. Because we are the ones that are lacking, that's behind, that's been redlined out of life, living an American nightmare, never to see a dream. We must be it ourselves and make the dream happen. And it's going to take young men like you, and all the rest of you, even our allies that are amongst us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Adams. Commissioner Isaac.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem. Thank everybody for coming out tonight. A lot been said, and I thank everybody for coming out. Mr. Rodney Alexander, Dave's coming out. You know, we gotta honor these people that helped build this city. You know, Mr. Alexander, I've talked to him. He want to do some things for the kids, and that's really important. You know, everybody got a different role they play. I like Mr. Nesbitt. He's having a passion for the city. We want to see change. I see folks workers here today, and that's going to be the key. Because we got a lot of development coming in this city, and we must keep the drains clean, the street sweep, and all this stuff going to come in. It's coming into play, and we got to have the right people that going to run these machines, pay them the right wage, but they be ready to come to work and do the job.
Yeah.
And I think public work, I'm gonna keep saying this every time I talk, it's gonna take public works. Public works. We have garbage cans cleaned up, a strong workforce, you know, more people, beef it up some. It's gonna take that. You know, they finna pump in some money for the Arts District. And we're gonna have the Project T, the Wall Street thing that's gonna take trash. They're gonna have drains and all that. Trees, public works. Expect great things been offered. Public works. Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Isom. One of our commissioners won a very prestigious award. Mr. Singleton.
Thank you, Honorable. He's runner up to that award. And I think the mayor might be running third. I don't know. But I'll talk about it shortly. Thank everybody for coming out. I like to thank those people who appointed to the boards. It's not, a lot of people ain't running to it, so you came to and asked to be on some of the boards. That's what it's going to take. See one, Mr. Buck right here. Mr. Buck right here. There you go, right there. Oh, okay. And coach named Les Buck right. Yeah. But there's a lot of things that's going on. People say we're not doing nothing. We get name called. Some that took to social media call out, names, acquisitions, claim I stole pension money. Got shot, arm off a blowed off rod in it, went out and paid my dues into the pension. And so I went out on disability until I got to the age enough to get regular pension. And so I say, if you think I stole some pension money, got a case filed. I even waived the statute of limitations. It's been almost 30 years. So I waived it and think you got a case filed. But, when the young guy came and said, skin of an alligator, right over flea or something, I can't understand what he's talking about. You gotta have tough skin, doing this job. Those accusations, I guess, be called a crook by a crook, and that's facts, facts. Took money from old folks, took their insurance money, but I took some pension money. So, it's just ridiculous, But hey, what can you say, taking this position? What you expect, I did my years in the police department, got far worse, all kind of accusations and stuff, but I'm focused and stay focused on doing what's right by the people, this community. Like I said, again, it's good to see young folks coming back and wanting to do something, hopefully they was inspired by some of the people who have been through already. It's not often that they come back and somebody else take them and steal them from us. So we just glad to have folks coming back. I like to have conversations. That's my committee, Parks and Recreation, Public Safety. So I'm one of the ones you can have a conversation with too. Watch them grow up. He was a little bit guy. And I'm looking up at him. So good things are happening. All we got to do is just stay the course, keep throwing the bombs, All the rocks you throw, I take them and make a monument out of it, make something good out of it. As long as I'm here, I'm just gonna do the best I can do, and hopefully, somewhere down the line, it might be asking the name of a park or something, or a street or something after me. Bathroom or toilet or something. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm gonna speak, then the mayor's gonna close us out with all due respect to his office. I'm the mayor. I do appreciate the meeting tonight. Mr. Alexander, hopefully he can come and be on our agenda with Community and Economic Development Department. We can start the ball rolling in that committee. Hopefully we can come together in some sort of fashion to start the ball rolling, because the ball doesn't need to be rolling. The one thing about there's a statement that says when somebody has great potential, I heard somebody say that just means they've never done nothing. So we want to do something. Because potential is only just thought, but when you've done something, that makes a difference. So we want to make the difference. We want to make sure something happens. I do appreciate coming in second place or third place in this challenge. And, my mother told me you came in fourth place. You don't have nothing good to say about a person, don't say nothing at all. So I refuse to say something. But the record speaks for itself. I mean, when you have sat in these seats, none of us have never, we have never been prosecuted for anything illegal as far as from these seats. We've never taken a dime. I haven't. I've never had a credit card, never had a car, never had a checkbook from the city council, never received a donation from the city council. And to see support of wickedness, it's just wicked to, heard a gentleman say, to try to destroy one person's character by pulling them down, you'll be the next one coming down. So never try to destroy somebody's character by trying to pull them down. And then you gotta let a lie be a lie. I do commend this body for hard work, determination. I didn't realize that Friday was an employee appreciation, but there was a lot of people down there from Harvard Towers and all over. We got some free food. Not only free food, it was a whole lot of spirits and everything else that was down there. But it was good to see the people mingling and having good music going on. But there's a different way that we need to do things, then let's do it. But there's nothing wrong with telling somebody thank you when they've done something they didn't have to do. I'm just enjoying hearing Commissioner Isom talk about how good Public Works is doing. And to see them out there in the community, I mean, you can, every corner you turn, you see them out there doing something. The streets as clean as they ever been before. You got the street sweeper running, and Public Works is just everywhere out there. I will want to say next year, I hope these gardens, these communities get back together, because gardens are looking pretty rough. I think because we cut off the water to a lot of them. And I do want to say this. I got one privilege real quick. The mayor called me at the last minute. She started on time before I started talking. The clerk did. There's two things I want to say. I believe it's illegal to charge people for water that they cannot drink. I think that's something that we do need to revisit as a body instead of giving somebody $300 credit and telling them they can't drink the water, no bathe with the water. I have no problem paying for sewer and trash, but you cannot tell an individual that they have to pay for water that they cannot use, then deliver water as a homebound. Because what's happening now is transition to your taxes, and whether we know it or not, when you send it over to Barron County, they add extra fees to it. When I was approached, I was doing a wedding in South Bend yesterday. I was approached by somebody, welcome to the cemetery board. A young lady approached me and said that her father was buried, great preachers in Benton Harbor. His wife came out to see him the other day and found out that somebody was buried next to her husband. So I hope we can get that rectified, because I never heard of that. It never came to this body, but they asked her, do she want them to move her husband? And she said, no, I don't want to move my husband, but I want to lay next to him. And so, so we just want to make sure that we're doing things the appropriate way and making sure that we make each other aware of what's going on in those type of situations, because I was embarrassed for somebody to broadcast that to me, and I'm saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard anything such. So thank you, Honorable Mayor, for this time. And I do appreciate the mayor for standing tall in our community and everything that has happened in the last years of his reign as mayor. Thank you, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And I'd like to thank all of the council for your comments and staff. I did not get an opportunity to hear from the public, so I'll go back and YouTube, we can't hear it. So I checked the minutes from the city clerk that records the minutes. I was invited by the White House to participate in the President Joe Biden's address to the city of Detroit and to the world this past Wednesday. I did get an opportunity to shake his hand and introduce myself. I wanted to take a selfie, get my book signed, but I didn't have that kind of time. It was going so fast. The CIA was, so I just said, you know what, I'm gonna take this time to at least say 2 words to him that could possibly resonate, and that is Benton Harbor. And when I shared with him that I'm the mayor of Benton Harbor, he looked up and he said, "You got a hard job." And he said, "But I thank you for what you do." And I said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for all that you do." And then he moved on. But it was a great honor to be there. Honestly, I felt like a flea because it was some big dogs in the house, so to speak, hard to slay. But Congressman Upton was there, U.S. senators, state representatives, judges. It was a big meeting, and Benton Harbor was represented, and we were there. Just another sidebar, I toured Lake Michigan and the St. Joe River as it relates to boating and recreation. And it's a $20 million annual business for this area. So you have the South Haven Municipal Marina. You have St. Joseph Municipal Marina. You have New Buffalo, but no Benton Harbor. And we're missing out in a major. When I went to visit South Haven, people were pulling their boats up, going to restaurants, going to shopping. It's a major market that we have to get involved in. You know, but I shared this with the young people at the Boys and Girls Club, and I took it from 50 Cent. He said that once he changed his style up, the money found. So it's important that we change how we're conducting and doing business for the better. How we talk and deal and treat one another.
Yeah.
Because we have the world watching. Big house. 400 people across 10 million in the state was invited. Benton Harbor had a seat. Not Marcus Muhammad, but the mayor of the city, which could be anybody. But Benton Harbor was at the table because we're important. So let's get our act together. I'm gonna try to lead the charge. But thank you. And, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
And
Call the roll, please.
January is coming.
Commissioner Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark Griffin?
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Isom?
Yes.
Commissioner Singleton?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Seats?
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed?
Yes, ma'am.
Motion carried.